Hi everybody, I'm Jason Bear and welcome to another edition of Bear Enterprises. I don't know if you can tell right now, but we're getting a little bit of rain and it's good weather to be out chopping our firewood. So safety first. It's very OSHA approved around here. Last couple days we've moved up to the 30, I'm going to do a little status report here on the dogs. We have a 36-mile run that we've worked the dogs up to, and as you can see we don't really have snow. We got snow about 10 days ago. Winter kind of hit for a few days, but then it just, right after we got snow and some cold weather, it just bang, turned warm, kind of sloppy, and now what we're getting is little bits of rain, and basically it's kind of softened the ground back up, which is good because in some ways, because if we, the two conditions that work the best for us here are flat out, thawed out, summery, cool conditions, where the ground's a bit muddy, where like the dogs can leave a footprint on the ground, or when we get snow. And when we get snow, then, if there's a lot of snow, we're on a sled, and if there's hardly any snow, at least it's kind of covering up the rocks and providing some kind of like a barrier. But right now I'm doing 36 miles. I'll be moving up to, I've got 5 of them, I think, 5 in a row that I'm going to do. Couple days off during the weekend just to do what we call muscle runs. And in those, the 36-mile run or any of my distance runs are kind of right now what we're doing is really focusing on endurance elements. I mean, essentially it's just get up and go. I throw some obstacles in. We have a drainage, land sport drainage, that's got some incredibly deep water. Sometimes it's kind of frozen, but whatever the case is, it's very deep, big boulders, a lot of bushes and stuff they got to scramble through. And we throw some obstacles in there, but for the most part, I'm focusing on just getting down the trail, and that's different than what we call our muscle runs, or another way to look at it is our recovery runs. And those I either hook them up in a neck back harness, which I do occasionally, but for the most part I just take them out and do harness free and hook them up on their collars. I really like the concept of developing those neck muscles and up in the upper shoulders and in the back of the neck, which you can get from doing harness free. So I do it once a week, maybe twice a week, and I'll kind of like let them run in that mode couple miles with hardly any resistance, and then I'll turn them around and come a couple miles back. So they're very short runs, but the 2 miles back are incredibly intense, where I get down to first gear and we really focus on pulling. It doesn't take a whole lot once you get to this time of year to create, to reinforce work ethic, reinforce muscle build up, to keep your muscle density. It's not like you have to go out for these 3 or 4 hour epic walks, essentially making your dogs pull really hard. I mean, you go out there for a good 45 minutes of heavy duty hard pulling, where they're kind of like that thing where they're buckled down and they're pulling the earth towards them as opposed to pulling your sled or your four-wheeler forward. And that maybe once or twice a week. And then the rest of the time it's some form of endurance run. So after, say, this coming weekend, then I'll be moving up to a 44-mile run, and we're starting to approach that kind of climax of our cart training. So the dogs look great. All I'm looking for is, and just to quickly add before this video's run out of time, is that what I'm looking for on these 36-mile runs that take about close to 4 hours is essentially at about 60% output. I mean, the dogs are basically going about the same speed they would in a dog race for me. A nice fast trot, about 9 to 9.5 miles an hour average. Maybe a little faster in some places, a little slower in others, but that's my average. I want them looking like a sewing machine, just kind of chugging down the trail, very precision. And that's about it. That's all I've got for this week, you guys. Remember, not all good ideas have to be your own. I'll see you next week.